Missed out on breakfast? Fret not. It's never too late to grab a bite.
All right, so we're going to be talking about shared rituals today and how they are the key to long-lasting connection. Do you have any?
Wow, that's a very interesting question because every time you go through your daily routine, it's kind of internalized. You don't really think about it too much. And I suppose to your point, yes, I do have rituals. Every day when I come into the office, I have certain ways of setting up my desk, a sequence of how I turn on the machines, getting ready for work. So there is that ritual for me to get settled into stuff. Back in the day when I was doing more sports, I would have a ritual as well in terms of how I would get ready into the right frame of mind, the type of music I would play. Going to the gym as well, I would have a ritual, a playlist of sorts.
Okay, fair enough. So it seems like you're all covered on that front. I also have a lot of solo rituals that I do, like cleaning the table at work before I start. Shared rituals front, family dinners every night. So we try to make that a thing. Now, among the thousands of rituals that have been studied, the ones that stand out are not the big ones like weddings and funerals and graduations, but the little idiosyncratic ones that people come up with themselves. So when these researchers were studying loss, a woman said she washed her late husband's car every weekend the way he used to. And there's so much in her saying that about her spouse and why she's doing it and what he cared about and how she cares about him. So you can obviously go to a car wash. It's not a big deal, but clearly for her, she's honoring something that's important. The other one comes from a couple who said that before they eat, they clink their silverware together. Now, silverware typically is boring, right? We use it to put things in our mouth, but they took these boring things that we take for granted, and with these little clinks, they turn it into something that's a reflection of them.
Yeah, that's nice. Like attaching meaning to some of the things you do to just find some value or make it more meaningful. And I think it goes to the point of how you try to connect with someone through this ritual. So there is this sequence of stuff you do. I guess in that way, you don't get into any awkwardness of sorts when you're with strangers like, hey, let's have a toast. And then people will just toast and then you have a speech and so on.
Yeah, so the cool thing is that rituals have different effects across different domains. So we use them almost to produce the emotion that we're looking for in a given situation. So if we're out for drinks and clinking glasses, for example, we're using the ritual to bring us together as a group to enhance the experience. But we wouldn't do the same at a funeral where we want to find peace. In sports, some athletes, like you said, use rituals to get amped up. Others use them to calm down, right? So it's the exact same thing that they're using, and they're going in opposite directions with it, depending on what they're looking for in that moment. There's also something to say about the importance of rituals in romantic relationships. So you can ask couples, do you have any rituals, and how happy are you in your relationship? And there's actually a very strong link between the two. So people who say that we have a little thing that we do together tend to report higher relationship satisfaction. And people who say, no, we don't have anything like that, don't. Can you share something of that?
Yeah, I'm just thinking actually on that point about family, right?
Yeah.
And if you have kids, you probably have rituals as well because you try to get them into routines so they know what to expect at certain times of the day, like brush your teeth, know how long you should brush for, what time you should go to bed, and what type of music you should play. And when you get out of bed, what should you do? So I think rituals do have a place to also help to structure your day or your life.
Yeah. The funny one on the dating front that I found interesting, when you break up with someone, they're allowed to date other people, right? If you ask people how outraged would you be at your ex getting married, nobody likes it. But the idea that you would reuse like a cute little phrase that you did before with an ex, that's the thing that's a violation of the relationship, right? You can see how important those little things are in establishing bonds.
It's like those secret handshakes you see athletes do.
Exactly. What about co-workers? You know, is it important to have rituals in the workplace? So when you talk to a company about rituals, the number one thing that managers say is, can you give us a ritual that we can make our employees do that will make them happy and productive? And the number one thing that all employees do when they hear about rituals is roll their eyes. So when you ask teams at work, very rarely they report something that was imposed on them. What they report are stuff they came up with themselves.
Yeah.
Like rituals around lunch, rituals around people's birthdays, things like that.
We have rituals. Every morning I will catch up with you on what you got up to over the weekend or what you did in the past day. So that's a ritual, right?
Yeah, I think we need a stronger ritual. Maybe it's time to create one every Thursday. Audrey takes us out to lunch.
Yeah, that's a nice thought. A weekly lunch of sorts. In fact, we've got a lunch tomorrow. Where are we going?
Yeah, we need to decide. All right, well, that's Shared Rituals for Breakfast Bites.